What's up? Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vanity. I'm all about love and I just want to see you win. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about life since being let go December 15th of 2023. So it's about to be the 1-year anniversary that I have been unemployed or not working at a corporate job, a regular 8 to 5. Crazy to even say that I have not been in corporate America for a year. I would have never thought that would be a reality of mine. And it was also something I never thought would be possible. I never thought, especially being a single mom, especially in this economy in 2024, that I would be able to really survive and make it through life without a job, without being in corporate America. And I remember I had posted this on TikTok and I was devastated. I was scared. I was crying. This had never happened to me before. And truly, I think this is a lot of fear for a lot of people, but it was one of my biggest fears as a single mom. There is nothing scarier than being a provider who loses their provision. And I remember, in everyone's attempt to really encourage me, they were saying a lot of positive things. People were talking about how it was a blessing that ever happened to them, how they've been unemployed for years and years and years, and God has been making a way. I heard about people starting businesses and finding success in other areas. I heard stories of people who found better jobs, making even more money. I mean, all the things. And at that time, it didn't register in my mind. I have always relied on a job. I've always relied on the safety of a job. I've always relied on the safety of a paycheck. I've always relied on somebody else, a corporation, my boss, to give me provision in life, as a lot of us do. Sure, I had other passions. Sure, I wanted to do other things with my life than just sit there and be doing the jobs that I had. But at the end of the day, I would have never in my right mind given up on a job. I mean, just the thought of it is scary, irresponsible, just doesn't make sense. Especially if you're that provider, if you're the main provider in your household. So as I talk about this year, I hope that by the end of this video, you have some encouragement, like true encouragement. I hope I can help ease maybe some fear and anxiety you have. If you are maybe thinking about quitting a job, if you are nervous about maybe something you feel is an act of obedience, if you did recently get let go, or maybe if you know you're going to get let go. Regardless, financial security is probably one of the biggest things that creates fear in us and anxiety. But God is bigger than all of that, and you're gonna be okay. So let me take you back a year ago. I was doing an Esther fast December 1st through the 3rd, and I was so unhappy at my job. I had your dream job. I worked from home. I worked on a MacBook. It wasn't customer facing. I worked with clients and the job itself was just meetings and email. I was on salary, so it was one of those things where, you knew the tasks needed to get done a day, and as long as they were done, you're good to go. But the career itself was in property management, and it wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking for me. I wasn't really a fan of that field, and I did not enjoy what I was doing. I worked for a startup company, and it was my first time in a startup environment, and it was actually the first time I experienced work anxiety. I'd never experienced work anxiety before, but I think it was because it was such a big girl job. Like, I would wake up anxious knowing the workload I had. I would be anxious about the meetings I was having. And anytime I would hear a notification of an email or Slack notification, I would just I would tense up. I didn't like it. It was also a very anxious work environment. If you know anything about a startup at all, there's a lot going on and you have to wear a lot of hats and you have to roll with the punches very often. There is no stability. It's a very chaotic work environment. So I'm doing this fast and I'm praying to God, and I'm basically like, there's all these things I want to do that I've been putting off for such a long time that I believe this job is keeping me from doing, such as content creation, YouTube, just things that I knew aligned with me and what I liked and my gifts a lot better. But I told God, I was like, I'm not gonna quit though, right? I'm not gonna quit. I'm not going to, I'm not that bold. I'm not that faithful just yet. I'm not saying I want to quit, because again, I'm trying to be responsible. Like I said earlier in this video, quitting a job or just really stepping out on faith like that as a single mom, sometimes you feel like you don't have the luxury to be as risky as you could if you didn't have the responsibilities that you did, right? So I was like, listen, don't take this the wrong way, God. I'm appreciative. I'm so glad I have an income. I'm so glad that I have a job. I want to do something with my life that I really enjoy. I'm going to be 30 years old. We're going into a new year. So it was like a big reflection piece for me. So I was like, what am I doing with my life? I don't want to spend the rest of my life just being unhappy. I don't want to keep procrastinating, and I don't want to keep saying I'm going to do these things and just not have the courage to do. So I was just like really distraught about it. This was again December 1st, 2nd, 3rd. You fast forward, December 15th, I get let go. They had actually just finished doing multiple rounds of layoffs. It got to the point where basically there was maybe a few of us left on the team. It wasn't a lot. And we were basically being told that this is it. You know what I mean? Like we can't let go of anybody else. I had made it through all these rounds, basically made it to this final round, and then they only cut me that day on December 15th. So at first, I was devastated. But then a part of me was also like, God, did you just fire me? I told you I didn't want to not have a job. I didn't say take my job away. I didn't say I wanted to quit. I wasn't being ungrateful. I just wanted to find a way to do what I'm passionate about in life. I just needed some clarity on what I should do next. And then boom. December 15th, so the rest of December, those few weeks, and then all throughout January, I was devastated. I was just paralyzed in fear. Like I am scared. My anxiety is through the roof. And let me also say this, I had been looking for jobs throughout that entire year. I had never landed one. So towards the end of the year, when I was still at that job, that's kind of where that fast came into play. Because I was like, ugh, I'm a little confused. I'm trying to get out this job. I want something better. I kind of want to do something I'm interested in. Clearly that opportunity is not opening up. I tried applying for jobs, didn't get any. So what does this mean? Like, does this mean I'm stuck here? And I wanted clarity during that fast. And you can find a whole playlist seeing this journey on my TikTok. I have a playlist on TikTok called Unemployment Thing, and you can see that whole journey. February, I had applied for unemployment and I had got approved for unemployment, but it didn't kick in until like late February. I had also got approved for food stamps, and that kicked in like mid-February. There was no financial help. So it wasn't like I had a family member or a friend that was like, girl, don't even worry about it. Let me pay this, let me pay that, let me take care of this for you. It wasn't anything like that for me. Lease was still pretty new. It wasn't gonna be done until August. So I still had 8 months. I'm paying $2,100 in rent and I got other bills to pay. At this time, I don't have the followings online. I'm not really making money online. I'm not really posting on this channel. I hadn't got it monetized. I wasn't doing coaching calls. I had made my Etsy shop, but I never told anyone about it. So of course there was no sale. Genuinely sitting here starting from scratch. Like I am seriously, like I'm sitting here, like I gotta figure out how to make this money by tomorrow. It wasn't like, oh, well, you know what? The business you started, it's going pretty well. Just go all in. It wasn't like, well, at least you got your channel monetized, so let's just focus on that. It wasn't like, oh, well, this crazy big following, so like lean into your community. It was none of that. It was, I just got baptized. I just lost my job. I'm 29 years old, single mother, spiritual warfare already hidden. It's already up here. I've already been looking for jobs for a year and never got one. And even though, yes, I have all these dreams and goals of doing all these entrepreneurship things, I never started it. So I'm just at the bottom. I'm like looking at my life like this is impossible. I have no idea how I'm supposed to make a way. I have no idea how my son and I are going to be okay in this circumstance. One thing I had been doing on and off for years was door dashing, and I had stopped door dashing the summer before because the summer before we were doing a season of sacrifice. I was door dashing and doing all these things to pay off my credit card debt. And that's another thing too, is I had just got to this point of what I thought was my financial freedom. I had just got to this point where I was being very responsible and I was tithing, and I really wanted to take care and steward my finances well. I had paid off my credit card debt. I had created a more healthy relationship with money. I was pulling myself out of this poverty mindset, and this was the summer before that December. So this was like June, July, August. God had then blessed me with a 2-bedroom apartment. It looked like everything was just going up. And then by December, job was gone. And all of that added back to that fear. And I was frustrated and I was angry. And I was like, I would have stopped living paycheck to paycheck at the start of this year. Now I'm having to use credit cards, rack my debt back up that I worked so hard to get rid of, figure out how I'm gonna come up with 8 more months of $2,100 rent. Again, I was so paralyzed in fear that it took me a little bit to finally make a step. So I made my first step at the beginning of February. When I say step, I just mean that's when I finally got up, decided to fight back a little bit and just shift my mindset. Again, all the rest of the December, all of January, I was just in a really, really bad headspace for about a month and a half, a good 6 weeks. I was just glued to my bed. I would wake up, drop Andre off at school, go home and just cry all day. Like I was not productive. I was very depressed. I was very negative. I just had a dark cloud over me, and I felt very defeated. I felt very helpless, and it just was not helping my situation. So going into February, I decided to pick myself up, think of a game plan, and start working my new reality and my new life out with God. I was like, all I can do is apply to jobs and use this free time, use this opportunity to start going after all the things I've been procrastinating on, or have been too scared to do, or didn't have the time to do. All the things I said I would do had I not had a regular, 8 to 5. And I basically just start chasing a dream, right? With my rent being more than what I was getting paid in unemployment, there was still a good number of bills that I had to figure out how to make. And I made the decision to be faithful. I really did. I said, God, I'm in this circumstance for a reason, and all I can do is, again, apply to jobs and chase my dream. I understand that if I just do my part, you will handle the rest. As long as I actually make steps forward, as long as I actually take the first step, as long as I actually try, I know you. I know that you will honor that. So every day I was taking the time out to apply for jobs, to network, ask around. There was no shame. I was asking everybody, hey, I'm unemployed, I need a job. Like, I was networking throughout all my social media platforms. And mind you, referrals were coming in. I would have this hope that I would get a job, and then I didn't ever end up getting it. So there were moments where I was having interviews and having these opportunities, but the job offer itself never came to pass. But again, I knew, listen, as long as I keep trying, I understand that God is going to make a way for me that is alignment with what He wants to do with my life. On the flip side of that, right, all I could do was just show up online. And that's what I did. I posted and I showed up on TikTok, and I did all the things that made me uncomfortable, that I hated. I was going on live, and I was having to go through the kind of up and down emotional roller coaster of that, where I would post videos and they would do great, and then I would post stuff and then it would do bad, and I'm just like, ooh, like I don't know what I'm doing. I was doing the things that I felt totally not qualified to do. When I started my one-on-one coaching, I was like, hey guys, like, if you think my videos are helpful, I would love to help you on a one-on-one basis. If you'd like, you can come book a call with me. Like, I was doing so many things I wasn't confident in. I was just like, here, like, let me see what works. YouTube, it was something that I knew I wanted to monetize, but I was so intimidated by getting monetized because all you ever hear is it's basically impossible, and it takes so long, and it's the hardest part, and you're not going to be able to do it quickly. I got monetized in like 70 days time. After really setting the intention with God in April, I was monetized by the end of June. Things are really working out. I mean, my unemployment is taking care of my rent almost, and all the money that I was getting through the TikTok creator program, through my coaching call, was enough to take care of the rest of my bills. Now, that doesn't mean that I was balling out of control and I just had financial security. I was every month scraping by. And throughout this first half of the year, I really learned what it meant to have to lean on God, and what God being the ultimate provider in your life really mean. Every month, at the start of the month, I had no idea how I was gonna do it. I had no idea. And then every month, a video would go viral on TikTok. 500,000, 500,000 views, 1 million views. And then before you know it, that's my car payment. That's my phone bill. That's gas, that's this, that's that. And every single month, again, I had no idea how it was gonna happen. At the beginning of each month, I remember I just got excited. I'm like, okay, God, like, I don't know how we're gonna do it this month, but you've been January, February, March, April. I mean, you keep providing. So I'm here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here for it. Like, I trust you, I love you, and I believe you're gonna make a way, because you're showing me that you're showing up for me every single month, and it was amazing. You fast forward, my unemployment stops in July. And that's also when I had decided to move out of my apartment. I thought it was a smarter decision to make, even though, there was provision being made. I still thought that $21 rent was still pretty hefty given my circumstance, and I wanted to make the most smart financial decision at that time. It was to move in with my family. I have a whole testimony on that, so watch that testimony video. But bringing this back, as a lot of you know, I had ended up moving in with family in August, and something about August completely shifted. Everything stopped. Views stopped, money stopped coming in, calls stopped being booked. I'm going through a lot of my own personal, spiritual, mental, emotional battles. I'm very sad. At this point, my bills are starting to be past due. There is zero money coming in. Like, it's no money. And I had kind of found myself exactly where I was about 6 months prior, when I first had got let go. And I was all of a sudden just, again, paralyzed with fear. I was scared. I was like, wait, like, It was as if all those months of provision just went out the window. It didn't matter because everything had stopped. And once again, it was a test, like how faithful am I going to be? I was still tithing everything that I was getting. Every call that I would book, I would take 10% of that, I would tithe it. I was tithing my unemployment. Again, I was trying my best to like really make sure that I was showing God, like I'm taking care of everything very well. Like you could trust me, you know? And when all of that was like stopping and when things were still getting taken away, I didn't necessarily get defeated. I didn't necessarily get angry with God, but I was sad. I was like, wait, I'm confused. Hold on, because I've been doing the right things. I know you can trust me. I have been showing up. I've been working really hard. I've been saying all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I took the first steps. I actually tried. Like I'm being obedient. What happened? And I think that contributed a lot to my deep depression that had happened in August, September, just a few months ago. And I talked about that also in the video I have posted on this channel, talking more so about feeling the lowest of my low in life. And it didn't help because where I was staying, the environment wasn't helping. And it got to the point where I was really acting really bratty. I was talking to God and I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna stop the money, we don't qualify for unemployment again, we don't have any food stamps, and everything I'm doing isn't working. Even when I went to go, I remember I would go and DoorDash here and there, get a flat tire. Like I would, you know, it felt like everything I was doing to be responsible and to try, it was like closed door, closed door, closed door. There was still job opportunities that were coming, didn't get them. And I felt like, okay, well, if this is like, it's one thing, like, okay, cool, I understood why you took the job away maybe initially, because you wanted to maybe kind of push me into my purpose. Well, I did that and I thought we were good. So what happened? And I was like, well, if this is what it is, then I don't care. I let my bills run due. I didn't even look at them. Bill collectors are calling. Waking up every day with this deep-seated anxiety, knowing that I have no money. Like I was so insecure, and I was so low. I felt so worthless. You know, I'm now 30 because I had turned 30 in August. So I'm now 30 years old, still obviously a single mom. I'm now living with family, still don't have a job. I no longer have the resources that I had. And everything that I had started that was doing very well the first half of this year stopped with no explanation. And I'm like, okay, well, nothing else I can do. So I didn't do anything. And I continued to run past due, and I continued to be sad, and I continued trying things, and it wouldn't work. And I'd be like, all right. Like I didn't know what to make of those moments. And this was August, September, October. So this was a good 2.5 months. We come to now more so this huge testimony that, again, I just spoke to, that I just made a video on. This kind of bleeds into that testimony. But I was saying in that testimony that in October, I get a job. And it's a call center job. It wasn't a job I had applied for. It only was paying $17 an hour. And it was like a random job that was referred to me months ago. I get this job, and while I'm so thankful for it, I was even more conflicted. It felt like God was teasing me, and it felt like he was playing in my face, and it felt like he was like using me. And because during this time online, I'm still showing up, so I'm still coaching people, and I'm still helping people, and I'm still pouring into people. And I'm like, what? Like, out of all the jobs I could have gotten, out of all the ways you could have given me provision, I don't understand, like, this. And it was, and I wasn't going to take it at first, but then I was so confused because I didn't want to make a dumb decision. I wanted to be faithful and know that God had more for me, but at the same time, my bills need to get paid. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? I take this job. Again, go watch the testimony. But long story short, that job, what I ended up finding out, was provision to get this new apartment that I'm in. Job did not last though. It only lasted like maybe a month. So now we fast forward, right? And we are now in December. And we are kind of back to square one, meaning it is now December. I am in a new city. I still don't have a regular 8 to 5. Remember, I'm never not applying. So I'm always applying for jobs, always looking for opportunity. I'm just waiting on the right door to open. The last paycheck I got from that job was about $600, and I got that about 2 Fridays ago. And you know, because I haven't really been online because of everything that's been happening these past couple months. Really, since August, I never kind of officially picked all that back up. As of this moment, my bills are past due for December. I don't have rent for January 1st. But you know, we're here. We keep showing up. Like, there is something about really walking in that faith, really walking in faith and not by sight, that keeps me going every single day. I genuinely have to wake up every single day and have that excitement how I had at the beginning of the year. Like, me and you, we're gonna make a way, and I know we are. What do I need to do? What's the 10% that I need to do? Where do I need to put in that work at? And that's genuinely what you're in the middle of witnessing. This is a perfect example of that. You know, me showing up, me being on YouTube is an example of that. Me making this video. I'm still following my dreams. I'm still applying for jobs. I'm still door dashing and Uber eating. I'm kind of in the same predicament I was at the beginning of the year, but my relationship with God is so different and my faith is so much stronger and it's so much bolder. If you don't have any faith right now, friends, stand on mine. If you don't have any faith right now, stand on my faith when I tell you God is faithful, especially after seeing what he just did. And again, you got to watch my testimony to get the full picture, to really understand how my faith has been restored. I know I wasn't placed in this apartment for no reason. I know I wasn't given this apartment for no reason. I know I wasn't placed in Dallas for no reason. I know this is all part of God's plan. And I know this was very, very, very intentional. So I can't sit here and be in this very intentional space, serving a very intentional God, and still doubt and still be fearful that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. That a way is not going to be made. By the grace of God, my son and I still got a roof over our head. Even temporarily being homeless, got this roof over our head. There is still food in our kitchen. And y'all know my favorite verse. Please hold. This is my favorite verse, so much so I had to get it on a pillow, okay? Matthew chapter 6 verses 25 through 34. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, which you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is life not more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable? Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? You see the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, who have little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. Your heavenly Father knows what you need at all times. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. I promise you. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorites, okay? Like I said, so much so I had to get it on a pillow. Those are the verses that keep me when Jesus is teaching us not to worry. That is what has kept me all year long. Of course, as a human being, you're gonna have your moments. Of course, you're gonna fall into those episodes of maybe deep fear or anxiety or depression, especially if you are a parent or a single parent or the main provider to whoever. It hits harder. The burden is a lot heavier. So I get it. But if it's one thing that I was taught this year, if in my 30 years of life, if it was one thing that I was taught this year, is that God is faithful. Seek first his righteousness and his kingdom, and all the things will be added on to you, and you will be okay. I promise. And I think I'm getting emotional just because it's like really hitting me. God has really made sure I was okay this entire year. And even in the moments where you feel like you're not, like I said, even right now, I'm sitting here right now in real time. Today is December 11th. I got bills that are due. Got another car payment coming up. There'll be 2 car payments that gotta be paid, and I got rent due January 1st. But I'm just still very much in his glory. I'm still very much content because I know I'm gonna be okay. Nothing about my life changed. I still have to show up and make sure I'm there for my son. I'm still the main provider of this household. I still have to do all these things. And I still have to put in the work in all these areas. But all you can do is, again, just take the first step. And again, I'm very open. I'm very transparent about my life. I love taking y'all through moments like this because these are very real and we all go through it. And sometimes you do need to just actually see somebody who is in your shoes going through what you're going through. So to help you better navigate it. And you can go to my TikTok. I highly suggest if you're going through this, go to my TikTok. I have multiple playlists just kind of talking about this entrepreneurship journey, talking about content creation, talking about the unemployment journey, all the things. And I believe it'll be so helpful to you. I have been able to testify all year. And again, still, my life still isn't perfect, right? I still haven't hit the financial freedom. I still don't have the financial security. I still don't have benefits or, you know, a consistent job. I'm still very much in the trenches of entrepreneurship. And there's so many things, even in the entrepreneurship realm, that I haven't even started yet because I'm still working through, you know, intimidation. Even with this channel, I was blessed enough to be monetized 6 months ago. And I stopped showing up. Now I'm trying to show up. But it happens and it's okay. But just don't ever forget that God is faithful. Reflect. If you don't hang this verse up, if you don't hang Matthew 6:25-34 up, I have this in my prayer closet for a reason. Like I said, I needed it in a pillow so I could sleep on this every night. So please, please, please don't give up on God. Don't let fear paralyze you for too long. Get up, fight back, partner with God, get your life in order, stand up and say, okay, God, what are we doing? What do you need me to do? What can I do moving forward? Because again, just try. Do your 10%, let God handle the rest. Do your 10%, let God handle the 90. All you can do is apply to jobs, follow any of the dreams that you know have been in the back burner, and stay faithful. Easier said than done, I get it, obviously, but it's that simple. That's the formula. I would love to hear some of your unemployment testimonies in the comments. And everybody who was here from the video I made where I was encouraging you to post a video on your YouTube channel. If you actually posted the video, please comment so I can go to your channel and hype up your video and give you your flowers. Because like I said, the hardest thing is just getting started. So I'm so proud of you if you took the first step and actually posted on your channel for the first time or just for the first time in a long time. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.